Hey there, this is a tutorial on Adobe After Effects Kinetic Typography. So what we want to start with is obviously open up the program. I'm here on CC 2015. Whatever version you have will be pretty similar as long as it's been the past few years. So what we want to start out with is simply create a new comp. So you go up here to this box, right click and say new composition and name whatever you'd like, press OK. All these settings should be OK. I've done that here, named it Kinetic Typo. Whatever you want to name it is fine. You can then come down to this box here and create a new solid by going right click, new solid, name whatever you like and pick the color. I've chosen this blue here, but that does not matter as well. What we want to do next is make sure you have your MP3 file, which is audio that your entire project is based off of. So I have here.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography in Adobe After Effects.
So that's a clip I've recorded from before, and it makes sure it is cut to the liking that you want, and that there's no, too much space in the beginning and end that you want to cut out. So make sure you do that all before, as it is easier to do it in third-party programs, I find, such as Audacity and stuff like that. So once your MP3 is all good and cut to your liking, what you're going to do is drag it straight into the bottom bar here. And you are done there. And now you see you have it down here in your bottom bar. Alright, so what we're going to do next is actually figure out what our MP3 says. So to do this, we can click on the bar right here. And click on our keyboard, the period button on your numpad next to, or sorry, between the enter and the 0, all on the right side of your keyboard. This will give us a little sample of the audio, you'll see.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
So if you click it, it'll give you a little sample. When you click it, it'll go back to the beginning. So let's start with the first few words of our audio clip, which is...
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
Let's start with that. This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography. So what we're going to do is go up here to the little text tool here, click on that, and start with the first letter, so first word. So we can change up whatever you want over here. That includes, obviously, the font, the size, color, all of that good stuff. So once we figure out that, let's do, how about an impact? Impact should be good. And white should be fine. That should be good. Alright, so what we're going to do is go up here to our selection tool. And what we can start to do is drag out one of these corners. And once that's done, press Shift. And that will make it so it doesn't get scaled unproportionally. So it'll all, won't look squeezed like this or really squeezed like this. So make sure you press Shift. That'll make it all look good. So start out with our first word here, excuse me. And we'll do the next one is same procedure, go down from a corner, press Shift so it does not get squeezed. And we're going to do this same process with our first 7 words, which are this is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography. First 7 words. So once I do all that, I will come back. Just make sure to change up your font and size, color if you want to do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I finished here. You can see I have my words. This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography, and they're also down here. So what we can start with now is, may as well create motion blur for all of these. So if you see this little box here on all of our words, what we can do is click here and simply drag down on all of our words. And also do the same with the 3D layer option. We're going to need these in a bit, as you'll see. So simply, once again, drag down right there. So now you'll see all of them have these 2 options enabled. So what we can do now is simply add a camera. So what we do is layer, new, camera. Camera 1, fine. All of these options are fine as well. Press OK. So now, if you press the button C on your keyboard, you'll see we're able to move around like this. And this is actually manipulated on camera, C for camera, and we can go in and out and all that good stuff. We can even go like that. So you see all that's pretty handy. Control Z to go back, by the way. So what we're going to want to do now is actually maneuver our text into a position we like to make it look good. So we're obviously starting with, this is a tutorial on kinetic typography. So what I'm going to do is take my selection tool here, and I'm going to start. So I'm just going to create a rough design here. So you can take note of what I'm doing, but it's obviously up to you how you want to do it. So I'm going to move him into just a good-looking, arguably good-looking pattern. And obviously don't be confined by anything I'm doing, or even you can change the font of any of these as well to make, you know, them more fit what your audio is. So I'm going to go like this. And so don't even be afraid to rotate them. So what we can always do is go to Typography, click on the drop-down menu here for the correct layer, as you see both Typography. We can go down to Transform and go to the Z rotation. What you can do is click and drag to the left, and you can see now we can rotate it in this axis. So what I can do is go to 90 degrees, which is straight up and down. And now I can manipulate like this, and we have text going the other way. Like that. So I can do the same thing with this one if I'd like. So once again, I can close this and go to Kinetic, which you can see it's actually highlighted when you highlight it over here. See, I highlight it there, and now it's highlighted here, so you know you have the correct one. Drop down menu, Transform, and once again go to Z rotation and go to 90 degrees, or any if you like. It's up to you. And I actually have these out of order. But here we go, Kinetic Typography. So I guess that's how I'm going to do it. Again, don't be afraid to, you know, like I'm doing here, make them different sizes, change them up, and it'll normally look good. You know what? You want to make it different. You don't want to make each word the same size and everything, or else it'll be very boring, as you can see as I go on with this. Alright, so what we're going to do next is go to our camera here, click the drop down menu, and the drop down menu on Transform as well. And what we can do is start to animate the camera. So what we're doing is first animating the camera, and after that animating each of our words. So we want to make sure the camera goes to the correct words at the correct time to sync up with the audio. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish now. So what we're going to do is go over here to Camera, Transform, and drag down on all of these keyframes here. So now our camera will be keyframed. And it'll actually help if you zoom in here, so you can see frame by frame. That'll help a lot. So you may want to do that. You don't have to go all the way, but I find that helps in a lot of cases. So what we can start to do is press the period button, as I showed you before, on the numpad. So we can go to our first sign of audio. Alright, so it seems to start right about here. You don't have to be exact. So I have lined up here. What I'm going to do, this bar right here where I lined up where the audio starts, what I'm going to do is press C. And this one's to move around. This one's to move in and out. So I'm going to want to line up with the this, like I'm doing right now. And you don't have to worry about the other text showing right now. That will be fixed in a bit, as you'll see. So I have the this lined up, our first letter, or for first word, I'm sorry. So what we're going to do next is go to the audio again and find where I say is. And you can see it's very hard a lot of times when the person, or in this case I, kind of slur your letters together a bit. It kind of can become confusing, but what want to do your best to find where you start to say the next word, which is.
This is a tutorial.
Especially fast, especially hard when the person talks fast, like I obviously do. So, roughly around here, I start to say is. So I'm gonna go and once again press C. I'm on this tool here, so I can move around, and I'm gonna bring this and the is into frame. All right, I'm gonna continue.
Tutorial.
All right. So I'm now going to go down to bring almost all of this into frame. I'm going to bring this is and a. And I'm going to find tutorial now.
Tutorial.
Alright, I said tutorial right there. So I'm going to find my tool and go over here and put this is a tutorial all in frame. And I'll back out a little bit. Alright, so you're going to want to do this same process and continue on for the rest of your words in the section that you've done so far. So I'm going to continue with that and I'll be right back. Alright, just quickly want to note, I've gone here onto the word on. I've done all that. Just when you want to, as I've turned the kinetic and typography, those two words, all you want to do is just simply, as we've done before, go to camera. In this case, we're doing the camera now. Camera, transform, Z rotation, and you're going to want to move this to 90 degrees. So now we are lined up, and kinetic and typography are in the correct orientation. And
Kinetic type.
And we can continue as we were going. I have finished all that. So one thing to note is you're going to want to go right before you switch the Z rotation here. And what you want to do is actually keyframe all the way in the Z back to the original 0 here. And what you can actually do is type it in to make it easier for yourself. So type in a 0. And what that's going to do is basically, you have to play with it. Obviously, I have to play with this here. I'll show you how to do that. But what's happening is, if you did not have that there, as I will show you right now, if I delete that, when you go and play it, and you press 0 on the numpad to do that, by the way,
this is a tutorial on kinetic typography.
It'll start to actually spin before you want it to, which you want to spin exactly when it starts on kinetic word here. So I'm going to go back here, and as I said, go before the word kinetic.
On kinetic type. On kinetic.
So here's kinetic. You can see I have the keyframe in the Z rotation here. So I'm going to go one before, and I'm going to once again change that to 0 right down here. So now if we can play this back, and you have to play with it and make it look good, as a lot of this, that's my major problem. You just got to play with it and see if it looks good.
This is a tutorial on kinetic typography.
Alright, so more or less that looks good. You're obviously going to have to play with it to make it look better and more, you want to make everything a bit snappy, so it snaps to the right word at the correct time. So this is a tutorial. And then we go to on, kinetic, typography. So we can actually, if you don't know, you could actually drag the keyframes to make it look a little better. And we want to make this a little smoother because it was a bit too snappy changing in the Z rotation. Because if you see, before we had it like this. So literally in one frame it would switch from 0 to 90 degrees, as you can see right there, and that's way too snappy and doesn't all look good on the eye. So we can simply drag the keyframe a few before. So now we see we get a little bit of leeway in there, and it actually switches. So we can move it a little bit before and see how that looks now. So let's take a look.
This is a tutorial on kinetic typography in Adobe.
Alright, so you can already see that it looks a lot better. It's much easier to see instead of it just snapping from 0 to 90 degrees in its rotation that fast. So simply, yeah, you just can move this keyframe, any keyframe, in fact, you can move simply. So you really want to play with it and see what looks good. That's only if you want to move in Z rotation, but you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of this. So that was animating the camera, and you can continue to do that and play with it and make it look really good. That's all just part of the design process. Alright, now comes the next step. So what we're going to want to do is actually animate the words now. So as you can see, as of now,
this is a tutorial on kinetic typography.
All that's happening is the camera is moving around to the words at the correct times, which is well and good, but it's not kinetic typography. We need to make the words themselves move. So what we're going to want to do is go to our first word here, which is this. We can navigate to where it starts, which is right here, represented by these keyframes here. So we can also confirm.
This is a...
Yep, so it says this right there. So what we're going to do is we can close everything out here to be easy. So we can go to this, transform, and we want to actually change the position here. So what we can do is make it even easier, is click on the this, sorry, not on the drop down menu, on this, and press P, and it'll bring up the position here. So what we can do is, and actually keep the camera open because that'll make it easier to see exactly where we are with these keyframes and make sure we're on the right spot. So when we say this is a, we want the this to be here, right where it is right now in its correct spot, so it can be readable, obviously. So what we're going to do is go up to the this over here and press the keyframe button. So we're basically telling After Effects that right now, at this certain point, this right here, this frame, we want this to be there, right where it is as you see it right now on the screen. So what we can do, though, is animate everything in this word leading up to this point, so it's readable when we say this. So what we can do is go, a frame or two or something like that before, a few frames, however you want. And again, it was with most of this stuff, you have to play with it and see what looks good. That's part of the design. So how about we have the word come in from us, so it'll like kind of, as you see, go in the Z axis. So we went a few frames before, and obviously it's still keyframed, so don't touch that. But what we're going to do is take the Z right here. So what you're doing is grabbing on this little blue guy here. So you see Z, Y, X. We have all our axes here. So we can basically drag this forward and keep dragging forward until when we're here at a basically C50 zoom, we can see it's not there anymore. So basically we just did it. So if you look here, we go frame by frame, you'll see it'll slowly come in from way out there. It'll slowly come in to be where it should be, as we said before. So when we say this is it is readable in here. So we're basically going to where it should be, where we say this, keyframing there. That's where it should be readable, and going a few frames before, and you have to play with where you want it so it looks good, and basically animating it, which we can do through these axes here. And the option that allows us to do that is actually this 3D layer option here. So now that we can play this, we can see how this looks.
This is a tutorial.
Alright, so what we're actually going to do is take out these keyframes here, because with the camera it was starting a little bit too far out. So now that looks much better. So you can see we have this coming straight in there. See that? To be resting there. And then we continue to move on. Alright, so now we can go to the is here. So I want to zoom back into about 50 or so. And we're going to go to the is. So we have is here now. we're going to go to where it says that in audio.
Tutorial.
Right here. And again, I'm talking fast, but we're going to deal with that. So we can see is right here. Alright, so I've edited a little bit. So now you can see this animation is a little slower and takes a little longer, and same with the is. So you're going to want to move the keyframes in and out a little bit. Just play with it so you can see it's animated in more frames and it's coming in a little bit slower. Looks a little better. So we've done the this and the is. Same process for the A. So where do we say that? Right there. So let's close the is, go to the A, press the P. And we have the position marker here, so we're going to press this for the keyframe. And right there is where A should be set. So what we're going to try to do is, how about, let's make it slide in from left to right this time. So here was where it should be said, A. Let's go a few before that and slide it out. Again, using the red X axis. So let's see how that looks now. That should slide right in. Alright, so again, let's play with it to make it look smooth. This is A. Alright, cool. So that's sliding in there. So
this is a tutorial.
Alright, you can see the A slides in nicely. Again, it's all just a matter of playing with it, and you know, I'm with time constraints here for the tutorial, but please take your time in, you know, making all the animations look smooth and good, and that's all just a matter of playing with these keyframes here. So that's with the A, and then tutorial is said here, I believe.
Tutorial.
Yes. All right. So here's tutorial, and same process once again. Tutorial. Click the keyframe for position. Alright, so for the tutorial, let's do something a little different. Let's go over here and open up the drop-down menu. We're going to click Enable Per Character 3D, as well as we're going to animate the position. So what we can start to do is bring this all the way out so we can't see it. And what we can do is go down here in the range selector, and right here, let's see.
Tutorial.
This is where we're saying tutorial. So we can go a few frames before. Make sure the A animation's all done there. And let's keyframe the start there. And
tutorial.
Let's go to where I say tutorial, which is right there, I believe. And we're going to bring this start here. We're going to drag all to the right. So we're going to see it's going to fly in like that, one letter by letter. So make sure it's at 100, which means it's obviously all finished. Right where I say tutorial.
Tutorial.
Right there. So now, as you're going to see, if we can, if it wants to load here. Okay, cool. So we can go like this, and you'll see very quick animation, so we can obviously play with these as we would normally do. But nonetheless, the letters are flying in one by one. So let's try to move this a little back to slow down the animation a bit. Continue to move it back maybe. And again, just a matter of playing with this to make it look good. So let's take a look.
This is a tutorial. This is a tutorial.
Very quick there. So let's try and edit that. So you can even see here, frame by frame, it's very, very fast. So let's try and move these a bit apart.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
Alright, that's a little better. Again, it's kind of hard with my audio I used as I'm talking a bit fast, but you're going to want to basically use my method and continue to just play with these keyframes and make it look a little smoother. That's the issue. You want to make it smooth so the animation can't be too short, but again, you don't want to interfere with anything else. So this is not bad here. So we have tutorial.
This is a tutorial.
Alright, so that looks pretty good. We can move on to the word on. So let's figure out where we say that. So we can go ahead and close tutorial so it looks a little cleaner here. We say
On Kinetic.
on's right there. So let's take a look over here and start animating that one. So we go on. You can go in here, press P, position, key. We're gonna go out a little bit. And let's see, somewhere around here, let's make it come out in the z-axis. So now we can see it animates in the z-axis. So let's take a look at how that looks.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic type.
Alright, and you gotta play with it, because obviously in that one it was a little hard to see. Simply because the fact that the camera was moving a lot along with the on. So let's see if we can make it look a little bit better. So maybe we can shorten the animation a little bit. As you can see, the two animations are kind of conflicting with the camera and that movement. So
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
alright, that's not bad. As you can see, again, we have to go very fast here because of my speech is a little fast. But as you can see, nonetheless, the on is animating in the z-axis. So let's continue on to Kinetic, which is right here. So same procedure, Kinetic, P, and how about we... let's do another where each letter flies in one at a time. So let's open this up, enable per character 3D, position. Let's make sure this is what we're talking about.
Kinetic Typography.
And let's make sure to line up the camera. Yep, here are my keyframes for Kinetic. And we can bring our position all the way out in the Z so we can't see it. Range selector down. Go a few frames before. We can click the start, and it should
Kinetic.
finish right about here. So you can see it goes in like that. Once again, very fast. So let's play with our keyframes. As you can see, though, each character is flying in one at a time. Just make it look a little smoother. Alright, looks a little better. Take a look again.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
And once again, as I keep saying like a broken record, the audio is very fast, so it's a bit hard to make the animations look good. But nonetheless, you'd use, for any audio, use the same techniques here. See, as they are flying in. Kinetic flies in one letter at a time. But if you spend time, you can surely make the letters look good as well as their animations. But it is a bit hard when you have fast audio. So
Typography.
here's typography, which is our last word in this set. So let's find typography right there. So let's do the same for this one. Enable per character 3D, as well as position.
Typography.
Right there's typography. So let's bring it all the way out as usual. Go here. Come a few before. Keyframe to start. Go to where it should be, which is right here, as lined up with the camera, and
Typography.
you can see we talk there. And again, bring start to 100%. So we can see they fly in one by one. And again, play with the keyframes.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
Alright, so that right there, save for some editing that you can do to make the animations look a little smoother. That is Kinetic Typography in a nutshell there. So, as you can see, that's not all, as you could hear, rather, that's not all the audio I recorded.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography in Adobe After Effects.
So, as you shouldn't go ahead and take all your words in your audio once and animate them. It's better to break it up in little chunks. So, as you saw, I took the first 7 letters, I believe. This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography. I still have in Adobe After Effects 4 more letters, or 4 more words. So, what you're going to want to do to add those in, and I'm not going to show you how to add them in, as I've already showed you. It's the same exact procedure as any of these other ones here, but I'll show you how to get started on doing that. What you're going to want to do is basically, let's make everything here. You're going to want to go to Layer, New Camera, create a new camera, and what you can do is simply, so you can look around without messing up our camera we had, you can just click the little eye here so you don't see our old camera. And we can now move around. And what we're going to do, same as before, text tool in Adobe After Effects. So simply do the same procedure, create our text for those other words, make your design as you'd like. And then simply make sure, as always, you are enabling down here the motion blur, which helps the look, and of course, which is all important, the 3D layer option. And once that's all done, you can, change them to look, and oops, I don't want to do that, but to look how you'd like, and obviously go through the same exact procedure as we've done up here. The only reason you're getting a new camera is so you can look around and move your text where you'd like without screwing up what you already had with the first camera, because you've already keyframed that. But you're not actually doing any keyframes on your second camera here. That's very important. So all your keyframes are staying on your camera 1. You continue on as normal. You'd go down to here, find where I start to say the other words, and keyframe. Again, camera keyframes first, then you keyframe and animate each of the words here. So, once you're done, you can delete that camera there.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
And as you can see, it's all done. So yeah, once you're done with all that, create a new camera, put your new words in. This is obviously, you can do this for as many words as you want, as long as the speeches you want. But continue with the same exact process. There are many techniques you can use to animate the actual words, including this what I showed you here. Make sure to just play with the keyframes to make them look smooth, well and good.
This is a tutorial on Kinetic Typography.
And that's basically how you do Kinetic Typography. Follow the same process and you should be good. Alright, thank you.